Folks, we've only gone and done it! Cards Unbound is no more. Pay to win is likely to go completely out of the window, and everything that Hi-Rez Chris, the new executive producer, is saying is coming next for Paladins sounds pretty awesome, I'm not going to lie. If you want to go read his full statement, you can find that in the description below, but I'm going to go through the main points and basically why this is pretty awesome, and a huge positive for Paladins moving forward, and for us all. And hey, shitposting art and Reddit actually seemed to work here, maybe even tipping them over the edge. Although today, on top of this, an article came out from IGN stating from a Hi-Rez employee, their source, that the vast majority of the dev team, they actually quoted pretty much all the dev team were against Cards Unbound, and that's also interesting as a backdrop to this announcement today. So between us, the community and the devs, we've pushed it back. So hallelujah, and praise-based Hi-Rez Chris, so at least we'll have to see how it fully progresses, but what the bullet points are and what he wants to achieve sounds awesome. So they said basically, they know the system has angered most of their loyal fans to become a point of continuous contention in the Paladins community, and even inside of Hi-Rez, admitting to that sort of issue, your voice has been heard loud and clear. And actually, like I said in that article and things like that, it sounds like the devs pretty much didn't want this either. Our team will be working over the next major release cycle to remove Cards Unbound from the game. We'll be replacing it with a new system that I believe the community will be really excited about, and reading further on, yes we will. Including the reintroduction of a deck building point system, yes customization, and a method for obtaining cards that will be less grindy. I don't know whether he's got it wrong in the bullet point a bit later on, but there's something added about that. Basically saying they want the focal point of the system of Paladins to be a fun way to customize your champion to your favorite playstyle, which it kind of was before. There were still some flaws. I mean, it could have some tweaks, and actually it does have some tweaks as we'll get onto it. But the big thing is they want to unify the competitive and casual experiences, so there'll no longer be that separation that we had before between Bound and Unbound. So this is the outline of what they want to move forwards, and they're actually saying it'll probably be on the PTS next week. And for everyone listening to this, he says, your analysis and participation will be important over the next few weeks as we work out the kinks of the design to deliver the best possible product to you in the end. So check that PTS out, give your feedback, because it'll probably be an incredibly important period to be vocal about changes for Paladins. But anyway, this is the bullet points of what he wants to have. Legendary cards will be now called talents, which they were actually called before. Talents will only be a single level. Yes, no more pay to win. It was kind of ridiculous, the difference between level 1 and level 10, so level 1 is awesome. So they said that talents will now be unlocked for free by earning XP and gaining champion levels. They give examples, so they're talking about champion level 1, 5, 10, 15. I don't know whether that's a bit too high. The only problem with doing something like this is you're sort of forcing people to play one champion, but we'll just have to see. It might not actually be that bad. But the main thing is the pay to win element has completely gone. I guess the other stuff we can give feedback about. And all the champion cards will now be free, no cost or grind, which kind of conflicts with they're talking about the card collection before, but I mean, if that's true, that's rather awesome. In my opinion, it'd be better if they perhaps increased the cost of champions. They kept the rotation very regularly to change the champion pools, so it was more of a grind to get the champions. Once you had them unlocked, you pretty much got most things, and that would be cool if the champion cards were free. They're talking about the deck creation will also return to a point system where players can distribute 15 points across 5 cards they select for each loadout, and each champion card will have 5 ranks to choose from. So this is a bit of a change, so from the level 4 system to level 5. It might actually work out better that you have a bit more finesse over the exact percentage between 5 cards rather than 4, so I'm not against that at all. And also, this is big because, again, the pay to win is gone. The reason why the system before could be construed, I know what other people didn't agree with me, as pay to win was because they were directly better than other cards if you got a card that was a certain level. But now, theoretically, all cards are on a similar plane, and the balance should be horizontal across the cards. It's not directly true because some cards are better than others, and some cards in combination work better. But for the most part, if you have a level 5 card, it'll be relatively similar to another level 5 card. And in theory, if everything was balanced, they would be the same. But I mean, the main thing is the pay to win element is gone. Talents will not have ranks and are not included in the loadout point cap. So basically, it's not 14 points, so you get 15 and then the single talent. Talents and decks will continue to be chosen at the match to allow players to tailor their playstyles based on their opponents. Awesome. New talents will be added over time and give further varied playstyles, that's fine, although hopefully they'll balance everything out. Champion Mastery will no longer be capped at level 25, instead it will work similarly to player account leveling, which has no cap. This is actually pretty awesome because it means that they're going to focus on a further grind with champions, and my hope is, if they want to get people hooked on things, give some meager rewards the higher you go up these champion levels. Give stuff at certain levels that get really high. The mastery rewards are pretty awesome. That sort of grind is pretty good, and I think I'm all for that. Card chests will be removed from the game. That's another indicator that, I mean, I don't know whether these are the bits that they're not sort of working out at the moment, because this means that there'll be no RNG, there'll be no loot boxes for the grind, and this is actually probably directly in response to things in the game's media at the moment that are completely panning loot boxes, especially the grinding with loot boxes. Jim Sterling, obviously, recently, I think it was yesterday, pitched in again, which has a few 100,000 views now on Paladins card system and the RNG, and the general gaming industry as a whole, and the feel and sort of negativity towards those systems, which is awesome. That's going. And at the moment they're evaluating the best options to compensate players that previously owned cards and hope to share details soon. Obviously all those people that have spent money on the system, that have ground out, hopefully they will get something back from that, and I'm sure that they'll have to give something. I know this is a massive overhaul and there will be some kinks, and maybe this is one of them, but we'll just have to see what they do with that. Again, next week on the PTS, be ready for it and be ready to give some feedback that's not so heated, that's not so angry, that's more constructive. I'm looking forward to it. I'm so happy about this. I'm not gonna lie, folks. This has been a shadow over me, and you know, I've been seeing a lot as a Paladins channel, and it was a lot of my gameplay, and I committed a lot of time to the game and covering it, and I had quite a lot of love for it. So to see this happen, I'm really happy, folks. I don't know what to say. This is awesome. The other big thing that they've talked about, Chris has, is that the Battlegrounds is going to go down. Why is this good? Because it needed marketing, it needed a proper release, because currently it hasn't really caught the market. If anyone's been watching my Twitter, the middle of this week, the release wasn't a very high population of players. There were lots of problems, so people on Mac, people that didn't have a high-end system, even if they had 64-bit, couldn't play the game because it would be too laggy, because it fixed the settings to high, and 32-bit just had no chance. And just generally it was quite a messy release, and also the Unbound system as well. They're actually completely cutting off Paladins Battlegrounds from the Paladins game. So they're completely going to be separate games from this point on, which I think is actually a good thing. The codename for the changes in the studio is YOLO, which is a bit cringy, but that's cool. They're saying they're just going to be aggressive in trying to get this out in another client. And they'll say it will have a different name. And the mode will have the current map and some elements from Paladins, as well as some significant changes, but will be relaunched as a new game. Which means that they don't have to try and balance everything in Paladins to Battlegrounds, because it was quite a difficult thing to get both having fine balance in Paladins Battlegrounds, because things were ridiculous like this Lex, and things weren't so good. So we'll be seeing that soon, and they say they want to get this up in an early alpha mode within weeks, and I'm actually looking forward to that. The system currently is fun, but it just had so much behind it that was not quite there, and honestly I hope that it does well when it releases again, and I'll be watching out for it. They've also given some bullet points for what they want to do in the future. Obviously Hi-Rez Chris doing this has given me a lot more faith in Hi-Rez in terms of his leadership of the Paladins project, I guess. And what he says is he'll listen to concerns, be as transparent as possible in addressing those concerns, which has been lacking as of late. Releasing high quality updates, well, we'll just have to see about that one. Having both PC and console players equally being listened to, okay. Improving the art quality of our game, adding fun content exploration, events like Smite has done for years, that will be awesome. I know that the Smite stuff has been pretty epic, and continue to improve the position of Paladins as a world-class shooter experience, which I hope they do. I hope that it gets the marketing, I hope that it gets the polish it really deserves, because it's a great game at its base, at its core. And they're saying focus on the core gameplay experience and the core community for the competitive hero shooter game we all love. Chris actually says we've been enjoying all the art that you've been producing and posting on Paladins subreddit, and it has inspired us. We have some great artists among our players. We should do some sort of community vote to get some of the best art pieces into our game as sprays. Which is funny. I honestly, that's cool. They can be self-deprecating and take it all on the chin, and that's awesome. And from what I've heard, the developers themselves, it sounds like they were mostly against Unbound anyway from that IGN article earlier today. So only good feels coming from me right now. What does everybody else think? Be sure to let me know in the comment section below. This is actually awesome. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe for more of my content, and some more Paladins. Huzzah! Anyway, until next time, everybody, Joshino.